Hi everybody, good morning. So I'm Shivraj Subramanian. I'll be handling biology for you. I understand that this is a JEE batch and you students have opted for biology. So there might be some people in this group who might still want to give NEET. Okay. But what I would suggest you is like you concentrate on JEE, maths, physics and chemistry. And even if you are going to study biology at the CBSE level, you would be able to get a very decent score in NEET in case if you're applying. So what I want you to tell is like whatever I will be doing will be like at a very NCRT oriented level it will be, and then like some extra points I will be giving. Still you can like which will be helping you for the board level examinations. It will be helping you a lot. Okay, so are you guys able to see me? As in like see the screen? Kindly respond in the chat so that I'll be able to know. I assume this is all like people who have opted for biology and JEE. In case if you have opted for computer science, I think this would be irrelevant to you. Yeah, it is okay if you can take up this class. I don't mind it because like this is like just learning thing. If you still want to sit through this class, I don't have any issues. If you don't want to attend the biology class, you may leave. Okay, fine. There are some questions asked to me privately, so I'll try to answer them quickly one by one. So there is like one person who's asking me if I do really need to opt for NEET examination. Would that be possible? Is what they are asking. Listen here. The syllabus of JEE and NEET are not very different except for the maths and biology part. Okay, physics, chemistry would be more than sufficient. So if you are like preparing for NEET and JEE, both of it, so what I would suggest is you concentrate on physics and chemistry very well. And you also concentrate on maths. If you are in the JEE batch, concentrate on the maths part. Okay. And do biology at the CBSE level. Even at the CBSE level, if you are able to do, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to get a very good mark in NEET also. Because with CBSE biology, you should be able to get a decent score. And then here, if you are able to shoot the score like anything high, like say, for example, if you're able to get something like 300, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get a decent medical seat also with this particular thing. So even if you're doing only CBSE biology, you should be able to get 240 to 240 kind of score you will be able to get. And if you're able to push it to 300 kind of score here, and then like if you're able to put a 240 kind of scores can still around 540. Which is a very decent score for NEET. Okay. So what you guys do is, should you do any extra preparation and all? Like, no, that is like all like you can see after your JEE exam is over, everything is over. Now that you have opted for JEE batch, I would try to say that you concentrate on maths, physics and chemistry. All these three things you concentrate it at the JEE level, and then study biology at the CBSE level. So this is more than sufficient to get a very decent good mark in NEET. Okay. So please understand it that way. Then what I want you to tell one more thing is, don't confuse too many things. So what I see most of you doing is, you will see that the JEE papers are comparatively tougher compared to the NEET papers. So while you are like proceeding during your regular school times, like while you are writing that weekly NEET test, JEE test, you will be finding them difficult comparatively compared to the NEET papers. So you think that probably you want to shift. So, but don't do that thing. JEE, study it at that standard. JEE is comparatively tougher exam. Okay, but it will, if you are going to study this stuff and if you are going to write the NEET exam, NEET will become very easy. Okay, so it will become very easy for you. So I would still suggest JEE is competitive, JEE is tough, but if you have an idea of like focusing towards like the tougher things, it will be a very good thing. So, but what I would still suggest is like don't get confused too many things. So as of now, your objective should be to learn maths, physics, chemistry, and biology at the right levels. Please don't build up any kind of like aversion towards anything. That is the first lesson that I would want to tell you. So everything is quite achievable if you think that you are able to do it. And every day you try to do some 30 problems per subjects. Per day. That is what will help you out in a long run. Okay. So please see to that like you are trying to do this particular work. Are we clear? So now what we can do is like we can start with our classes. I'll start with this first chapter, Living World. Living World is the first lesson in biology in 11th standard syllabus. So we'll start with this chapter. So in 10th standard, you would have studied something called as life process. So this is like almost a similar lesson. The first part of that lesson, it is almost similar to that. So now tell me, what would be the difference between a living organism and a non-living organism, non-living thing? So someone is saying movement. Then consciousness. Cells. Response to stimuli. Someone has said growth. So then someone has said energy requirements. So some people have said about life processes. And then some people have said more than movement, the best suitable word is locomotion, some people are saying. And then like someone is saying electrical impulses. Someone has said movement, control and coordination. Okay, fine. Stop responding now. Emotions. Okay. And then like some person has said like conscience. And then someone has said about reproduction, needs, and all those things. Similarly, like you have all said like lots of things. I think most of the points are fairly covered. But what we are now going to do is all these things are there. Movement is there, conscious is there, cells are there, response to stimuli is there in living creatures, growth is seen. Some people have said reproduction, that is also there. So what we are now going to do is we are going to evaluate all these things and see whether they are really making us living things. Okay, so that is what is the first half of the lesson. So the first half of the lesson is like kind of trying to evaluate and argue certain things as to what is making something living and what is making something non-living. Okay, we are going to study the difference between the two. It is almost similar to whatever you are knowing it commonsensically, but here I will be asking certain questions, very sharp questions, which would make you to think in a different way altogether. Okay, so now let us talk about growth. So we all know that living organisms grow. All living organisms grow. So this is something which we know. But can we tell that anything which grows is a living organism? I'm just asking the corollary of this question. All living organisms grow is a statement. Can I say that anything which grows can be considered as a living organism? People are saying no. Please don't just say no. Tell me why also. So there is someone who is saying that mountains grow. Yes, very good. Mountains are growing. Okay. Because sand dunes grow. Sand dunes means in desert area, lots of sand is getting accumulated. Sand dunes grow. Okay. Even soils and rocks grow. Soil, I'm not sure. Okay, soil is sand dune again. Rocks are said to be known to grow. In actual life, cells will grow. Yeah, that is what is there. Cells will grow, but that is coming under the living creatures. But when I'm asking a corollary question, okay, whenever I'm asking a corollary question, someone is saying that air bubbles is growing. Bubbles are growing, water bubbles. Yes, correct. So they should grow from inside. So when I'm asking a question that if anything which grows is living, I can give you so many examples. I can say that mountains are growing. I'm saying that sand dunes are growing. I'm saying that rocks are growing. I'm saying that bubble is growing. All these things are growing. So I cannot say for sure that anything which grows is living. Balloon is also growing. Yeah, right. So what we are understanding here is we are understanding that growth is not a defining character of life. So please understand that growth is not a defining character of life. So while you are trying to evaluate these things, we have to understand that we are evaluating the parameters. So here we have studied about certain parameters. So here we have said about all these things. So now I have taken growth as the first point and we are evaluating it. While trying to evaluate, what is that we are understanding is that we can say that all living organisms grow. But what you cannot say is that growth alone is not sufficient to say that something is living or not living. So that by that particular thing, what we can say is we can say that growth is not a defining character of life. Okay. So please now what we will do is I will try to write some notes here. So please copy down the notes. That is very essential here for this particular class. So please take a note. If it is a fair note, it's fine. If you don't have a fair note, you just start taking it in something and then later copy it to the fair note. Okay. So now the first thing that you have to understand is we are going to talk about growth. You can write that all living organisms grow, but growth is not a defining character of life. There are non-living creatures, non-living things that grow as well, like mountains, sand dunes, pile of dust. Okay, so please write this thing. So what is growth exactly? If you're asking me, growth is what we call it as increase in size. Volume. Okay, so that is what we call it as growth. If you're going to talk about what growth is talent, okay, we are not talking about those things. Please listen, this is all confined only to biology. We are not going to talk about other forms of growth. This is only pertaining to biology that we will try to study. So according to biological world, growth is related to growth in number of cells. Growth is related to the size. Okay, growth is related to volume. Okay, we are not talking about the growth in terms of psychological thing or like abilities to do certain things. So what we are trying to tell is we are talking everything only biologically, whichever is possible. So we are talking about number of cells growth and what is the increase in size and what is volume. So let us say talk about bacteria. If I'm growing bacteria in a culture in a Petri plate, what you will understand is I can grow bacteria in a laboratory environment. While I'm growing it in the laboratory environment, you please understand that I have to give the bacteria some nutrients or food. When I'm giving that food in a Petri plate and then I'm putting some bacteria to grow in it, what you will see is after some time in the Petri plate, you will see that there will be numerous colonies. We call these as bacterial colonies. What is this colony exactly? If you zoom it and see, this colony is nothing but a group of microorganisms. Which means one particular cell would have been there and that particular cell is trying to grow and divide and divide and divide. It is trying to be dividing and then living. So this is increase in number that you are seeing here in the bacterial colony. The bacterial cells are growing. You are seeing the increase in number of cells and you're seeing the size and you're seeing the increase in volume. All these three things will increase the size of the colony. Okay, so what is growth exactly? Growth is increase in size, it is increase in volume, or increase in number of cells. So whenever I was a small kid, let us say that I was like only like 4 kgs, and today I'm like 84 kg. So how did this mass all of a sudden built up? I have grown. Basically, I have got more cells. I have got the volume increased. I have got the size of my cells increased. All these three things only has contributed to the growth condition. Okay. So please understand that thing. So for all these things, cell division should happen for growth. Okay. The lost cells are replaced. Say for example, I have been like growing, so I will see my hand sometimes, like when you are waking up in the morning, you will see some dry skin in your hand. What is that dry skin? Tol uriyudu appdinu solvom. So what is that dry skin? The dry skin is indicating that some older cells are replaced by newer cells. So that old cells whichever was there is going away, and in that particular place you are getting some new cells. So that is what is the case. So lost cells are replaced for growth. So all these things also you should keep in mind whenever you are trying to take account of growth. And you should also know one last thing: a dead organism cannot grow. So some people might be trying to tell that after death the nail is growing and then hair is growing and all those things. Those are all like not scientifically proven things. So maybe for some particular time some organisms will show metabolic activities. So after some death, okay, some organism will show, but eventually that will be dead. Okay. So what you have to understand is that a dead organism cannot grow at all. So lots of people will be trying to tell that this thing. I mean, like they'll try to tell you about like nails are growing after the death. So there is a father in Goa whose dead body nail is growing, hair is growing, kind of things they will try to tell. But it is biologically not possible, and scientifically it is not proven that it will happen. So once the organism is dead, the growth cannot happen is the truth that you need to understand. Okay, there is something called as myth and there is something called as fact. What is the fact that people know for sure is that organism cannot grow. Okay, so this is what is the first case. So please copy down these notes. If you are done, we can move to the next part. Okay, someone is saying that the shrinkage of our body will make the nails pop out, and we think that it grows. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, someone is like asking me this question: how does defibrillator as well as CPRS is working? They are trying to say, when a person's heart is like kind of stopping, it doesn't mean he has died. Okay, so whenever there is a person who's there, like who has gone to a case where there is a cardiac arrest, a cardiac arrest doesn't mean that the person is dead. It has temporarily lost its functionality and it is like kind of like stopped working. So in such a case, what you're trying to do is you're like kind of waking up the heart by giving that CPRS, or you're using a defibrillator and you're trying to push them back to life. Okay, so that is not death actually. Okay, so it is just a temporary glitch where your machine has stopped functioning. and then you're trying to wipe out the case, and then like you're making it ready, and then like you're trying to stop. It's like going in a bike all of a sudden and your engine has stopped for no reason, and then you are like kind of like going again and then giving the start button once again, pushing the start button once again, it is starting kicking back to life. It is like that. So please don't understand that heart cardiac arrest is not death. Okay, if the heart is ceasing to completely stop, if you're not awakening it, then it will lead to death. Why it is leading to death? Because the heart's important work is to pump out the blood, and then it is to important work is to push the life happening. So the circulation should be continuing. So if you are like your heart can be like without for heart functioning, you can survive up to 6 to 7 minutes. So within that particular 6 to 7 minutes, what you have to do is you have to recapture that particular thing. So that is what they are trying to do while they are doing a CPRS or while they are using a defibrillator. Okay, if you guys are done, we can move on to the next point. So please copy it down. I think my system is like kind of like not allowing me to go back to the old slides. When new cells are replacing the old cells, what will happen to the old cells? The old cells will die off and then they will wither away. So your blood system will try to remove it. It can kind of like come out of your body in other forms. So those cells will be digested and those cells will be kind of sent out. Okay. So say for example, you are getting your urine is like yellow in color. Why is it happening? That is because the red blood cells are being broken down in the liver, and then that is coming out in the form of bilirubin into your body. So that bilirubin is what is making your urine yellow color. And similarly, bilirubin is coming out in the form of your defecation. While you're defecating your thing, I mean like the feces are yellow in color. Why is it yellow in color? Because of bilirubin. Okay. So all those things, there are cells which are there inside which will die and which will be pushed out of your body as a waste. Every cell will have a different lifespan. For red blood cell, it is 120 days. For white blood cells, it can be from 1 week to 1 year. Okay, platelets will live up to 14 days or 15 days. Okay, it is not because of dehydration. The yellow color is because of pigmentation. Yellow color is mainly because of thing, but if you are adequately drinking water, it will be dilute, and then your urine will come to a normal color, white color. If your body is sufficiently hydrated, it will become there. But what is that thing? Even your normal person whose urine is there will not be white in color purely. It will be like pale yellow. That pale yellow color is because of bilirubin content. Okay, so the next factor that we need to try to study here is we need to study about reproduction. It is a process by which organisms give birth to young ones. Living organisms reproduce. But can we say that all living organisms reproduce? No. Naturally, the answer is no. I think many of you are like typing no. So we all know the cases where it is not that way. Think of a person, a sage or a saint who is a celibate. So what is the meaning of a celibate? A person who is like kind of celibate is kind of capable of not capable of I mean like a celibate is a person who's like kind of avoided abstaining a sexual need. So they have said no to sex, and then like they said like they'll not have sex, and then they'll not reproduce children. So a sage or a saint or a celibate will not have children because of their choice. Or let us talk about a transgender. People are talking about transgender. A transgender is an individual who is like kind of like whose gender is not so fixed. Okay, plants does not reproduce. Who said so someone is saying plants do not reproduce. Plants do reproduce, Tambi. They are all producing seeds. So seed is a reproductive ability of plant. Okay, transgenders will not be able to do. Anyone who is like sterile, who is a sterile person, someone who is not fertile is sterile. Sterile is the opposite of fertile. So someone who has lost the ability to reproduce. Or there are some people who who don't want to reproduce. Okay, so those kind of people by choice, they said like they'll not say they'll not reproduce kids. So those people will also not be able to reproduce. So all these kind of examples are trying to tell that we will not be able to reproduce. So someone is saying that a hybrid of lion and cheetah is also not able to do. Yeah, there is a mule. Mule is a hybrid between what and what? Hybrid of donkey and horse. Okay, it is a hybrid of donkey and horse it is. So this mule will not be able to reproduce because mules are sterile. Similarly, you have that liger, or you have a tigon. These are all like liger, hybrid of lion and tiger. And this is a hybrid of tiger and lion. Okay, so this is like kind of like depending on which is male and which is female. Okay, so these kind of organisms are born naturally, and today recently there is an ability which people have found that ligers are giving birth to young ones. Liger has recently there was a liger which has crossed with the lion, and it has given birth to an young one. Okay, so this is quite possible. Not all the hybrids are sterile, but hybrids like mules are sterile. So all these things are trying to tell, what is that it is trying to tell? It is trying to tell one important thing. The one important thing that it is trying to tell is that reproduction is not a defining character of life. So it is trying to tell that reproduction is not a defining character of life. So please write these things. Okay. Reproduction is a characteristic of living organisms. It is a process by which organisms give birth to young ones. Living organisms reproduce either sexually. Reproduction can be sexual or asexual. But because of all these examples, your reproduction is not a defining character of life. Okay. You should also know about one more example is your bees, honey bees. In honeybees, there are three types of honeybees are there. The first variety is what you call it as a queen bee. This queen bee is a fertile female. Then you have the worker bee. The worker bee is a sterile female. And then you have your drones. They are fertile males. So please understand, in a honeybee, a honeycomb, you will see like have three different varieties of bees will be there. One is the queen bee, the other one is a worker bee, and the third one is a drone. So what you need to know is the queen bee is the only fertile female in the entire lot. There are lots of worker bees will be there, but they are all sterile. They cannot reproduce at all. The drones are males and they are fertile. Their primary work is to go and fertilize the females. Okay, so that is what is the case. So which means like what you need to understand is that so this group of people are living. The worker bees are considered to be living, but they are not having the ability to reproduce. This is also one more example here. So you please add this also as an example. Example where an organism is living, but it is not having the ability to reproduce. So if you are done, we can move further. Can we move further? Okay, children, good, good, good. Okay, enough, enough. We can proceed. So the next thing that we have to know is we need to know about metabolism. Okay, I'll use this page for writing notes. I'll try to teach here in this page. So what is metabolism? So what is metabolism? You can reply me privately. Someone is saying that sum of all biochemical reactions. You guys know what is making metabolism? What are the two things? Yeah, someone has said, Satvika has said anabolism and catabolism. In simple words, production of energy. Some total reaction happening in an organism. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You're all like kind of like it is not very precise exactly. So let me explain what is exactly metabolism. So they are saying that collection of all entire metabolical molecular processes held inside an organism for its survival. Yes. So let me try to tell you what is happening in my body. So let us say that when I was a small kid, I was like barely 4 kg. Today I have like grown up to like a huge person who's 84 kg. What has happened in this particular period? My body has built. Bodybuilding process has happened. Not in terms of what I'm trying to tell, I'm not becoming muscular and all those things. But what you need to understand is like the growth has happened basically. So how did I grow basically? What has made me myself? It is the food that I have ate. The food that I eat has made what I am today. So what has happened here in my body is the food that I have ate is broken down. broken into simple substances. And using these simple substances, my body is building again. Okay. So using this thing, this is like what, I mean, like, let us say that I'm eating a potato. A potato has stored cells in the form that it was liking. So when I'm eating that potato, what is happening in my body is I am trying to break that particular potato into smaller pieces, smaller building blocks. And then using that building blocks, I'm trying to rebuild my body. Okay. So this is what is metabolism. So ultimately what is happening is I'm taking out energy in this process for survival. And then finally, I'm also building my body here. Okay. So what is metabolism? Metabolism is made up of two sub-processes. One is the breaking down reaction, which is called as catabolism. All my digestion, respiration is a catabolical process. Why catabolism? Because things are being broken down. What is happening in digestion? In digestion, the food is broken down into simple. So what is happening in respiration? Glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and water. So here, all these phrases, I am breaking it down further and further. So that is what we call it as catabolism. But if you are going to talk about anabolism, I am building up things. Body building, I am growing. Whereas I am talking about photosynthesis in plants. It's an example for anabolism. Why? Because glucose is being formed from what and what? Carbon dioxide and water has combined together to form glucose. Something bigger is being formed here. So wherever building up process is happening, that is what we call it as anabolism. Wherever breaking down process is happening, that is what we call it as catabolism. And both these things together will contribute what we call it as metabolism. Okay. So if you want me to take notes, if you want me to write notes, metabolism is a sum total of all biochemical reactions happening in a body, in an organism. It comprises of the breaking process, catabolism, and the building process, which is the anabolism. Okay. And one more thing that you need to understand here is metabolism is a defining character of living organisms. What is that thing? It is a defining character, which means all living organisms, be the amoeba, be the bacteria, be the very smallest of the smallest case, okay, will be like what Abhin Keta, they will all have metabolism. They'll all show metabolism. So the time when this metabolism is stopping, that is when they call you dead. A dead person will not show any metabolism at all. So even a person who is there in coma, Even in a person who's there in coma, his brain is said to be dead. But what you need to understand is those people will also have metabolism inside the body. The heart will be functioning, the kidney will be functioning, the breaking down process will happen, and the building up process will happen. And all these things will happen in that particular organism. So what you need to understand is metabolism is the defining character of living organism. Okay, so any living organism in this earth or elsewhere will show metabolism. So quickly copy down. Please understand that hormone is not used to build our body. Hormone is will hormone will try to do is hormone will try to make our body build the substances which are built. Your body is not built with the hormones. Hormones are very minute things which are produced in very low quantities in your body, so that they are like kind of what they are helping the body to build. Okay, so please don't say that your body is built up of hormones. Okay, your body is still made up of only carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins and fats. Okay, your body is built only with carbohydrate, protein, fats, and vitamins and minerals. Okay, well, it is made only out of nutrients. Whatever you're eating only will be like making your body. What are hormones? Hormones are chemicals that will help the process to happen at a faster rate. Okay, if you're having testosterone, your muscle building will happen at a faster rate. If you're having estrogen in your body, then your fat development will be happening at a much faster rate. Okay, children, can we proceed? Okay, good. Hormone will decide the timing of the bodybuilding. It is not exactly the time. Actually, it decide the pace at which the body is built. You cannot call it as time. Okay, you can call it as the pace. If that particular hormone is there, it will try to hasten certain processes. Okay, so that is what it will try to do. Manojit is raising the hand. Do you have any doubts? If you have any doubts, please type it in the chat column. Okay, so now I'm proceeding further. The last concept for the day. I think I just have 10 more minutes of my time. So what we will do is we'll try to go to the next thing is conscience, consciousness. So let us say that there is a amoeba. Okay, this amoeba is trying to see something like a food. What will this amoeba immediately will do? The amoeba will try to move towards this food, and it will try to engulf the food. Okay, but let me give you a same example of an amoeba. And let us say that there is something like an enemy, some organism which it can kill this amoeba, or it is something which is a dangerous thing for this amoeba. What will this amoeba will try to do is it will try to run away from it. So what is exactly is happening is this amoeba is having the conscience that this is a food and I can go towards it and engulf it. And this is a danger. So I'm running away from it. So this is what we call it as conscience or consciousness. So it is able to see the environment. It is able to understand that this is something which is okay for me to do. And then it is trying to run away. So children, I will just revise this entire thing once again before I stop it. So you can copy down at that particular time or take a screenshot at that particular time. Okay. So you just listen to me now. So what is happening here is, you please understand that this amoeba is moving towards the food and it is capable of engulfing, or it is capable of running away from a danger, and it can survive. So this is what we call it as consciousness. It is ability to respond to stimuli. Consciousness is what is to analyze the environment. Ability to respond to stimuli. Reacting. Okay, all these things we call it as consciousness. So only living organisms will have a consciousness. Okay, so please understand, consciousness is a defining character of living organisms. So all living organisms will have conscience. They will be able to show consciousness. So that particular thing is what we call it as the important thing, because all living organisms have sense organs. Okay, so there is like a form ability to be aware of things. We all respond. Even plants will respond to light, water, temperature, and all those things. Okay, so some people can try to tell me that, sir, what about these people who are brain dead? So let us say someone is in coma. Can you call them as consciousness? Even in their body, the blood cells which are there is still active. Even in their body, there are cells in their body which are still carrying impulses. So like say for them, the character of heartbeat is still there. A person who's there in a coma will be still having a functional heart. So how do you think that the functional heart is operating? That is because it is having senses. Even if you're going to have a person who's there in coma is getting a viral infection, the blood cells there in his body will be able to help them, and then like it will try to cope up with the situation. Probably he's not voluntarily moving, he's just like sitting, and then like he's like just sleeping. He's not conscious of like the environment, but still inside that particular person there is like something called as conscience, which is trying to drive that particular person. So what you need to understand is, consciousness is a defining character of living organisms. So in yesterday's class, in the NEET class, one person was trying to tell about robos. Okay. Okay, here also someone has said, but a robo is a non-living thing, but it is reacting. You just take the chip away from the robo, will it react? Only when you are supplying it with electricity, it is that way. It is able to react. But there is something called as a switch off. Can a robo behave in its own without any source of energy? It cannot. So you cannot call robo as something with consciousness. There is the moment you are having a trouble, you just try to switch it off. It will be like not reacting. So what you need to understand is we are giving the ability of ability to the robot to do certain things. That is what we call it as artificial intelligence. We are trying to inculcate some ability to the robo, but a robo need not be what a robo will be functional only under the presence of something called as power. So if you're taking away that power, it will not be doing it on its own. Is electricity is living? No, it is not living. Electricity is defying all the other characters of life. If you want to tell, it does not have metabolism, so it is not living. Yes, you can ask your doubts. I think I am done for the class today. So consciousness is the last point that I wanted to tell. Quickly type your answer. By the time I will try to summarize what we have seen in the class. First, we started with growth as a factor. We understood that growth is not a defining character because of certain things like mountains, sand dunes, pile of dust, and all those things. So all these things made us to conclude one thing, that growth is not a defining character of life. The second thing is we started studying about reproduction. While we were studying about reproduction, we understood that living organisms reproduce, but not all living organisms. There are people like sages, there are people like transgenders, there are sterile human beings, there are sterile organisms, and then there are sterile honeybees. So all these things make us to understand that reproduction is not a defining character of life. Then you have the next point that I wanted to drive was metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the chemical reaction which is happening in your body. It is made up of catabolism and anabolism. Metabolism is a defining character of a living organism. Okay, so this is something which is you need to know. And then finally, you have we have come to consciousness. Consciousness is the ability to respond to the stimuli. It is the reaction which you are able to do, and then where your sense organs are helping you to be conscious of the surroundings. So consciousness is seen only in living organisms. Non-living organisms do not show consciousness. Okay, so we call them as we can call consciousness as a defining character of living organisms. Person in coma cannot be called as dead because his heart is functioning, his kidney is functioning, his all the other organs are functioning. It is voluntary actions. The part of cerebrum only is like brain. That part only is dead. Okay, so that is what is the reason. The next question, wait a minute, is artificial intelligence related to consciousness? Yes, artificial intelligence is related to consciousness. What we are trying to do in artificial intelligence is like we are trying to enable a robo or a non-human entity to behave like a human being. That is what is artificial intelligence. If I'm talking about artificial intelligence, what I'm trying to do is I'm giving a system, a particular computer or a group of network of things, some ability to analyze and think like a human being. That is what is artificial is all about. Okay, do people who live with ventilator respond to stimuli? Yes, because the moment you are, what is the problem with people in ventilator is that they are having some kind of natural inability to breathe. The moment you are giving them that ability to breathe, all the other things are functioning normally. So because of that, they will have the ability to respond to stimuli. So, and someone who's there in that particular thing will still be able to feel what is a touch. If you're going to pinch them, it will be paining for them. So that way it will be the case. Okay. So please show slide number 5. So this is slide number 5. Sir, but a person in coma can't have nutrition for many days in his body. And what happened to him? Probably he should be given very light food, because a person in coma will be given drips. he will be given nutrients which are broken already. Are people on life support still have the ability to conscious? Yes, they will have the ability to conscious. That is why we are holding them. There is a hope that they will come out alive. That is why we are supporting them with life support. Okay, it was nice talking to you guys. So I think the class was good, or like you leave me your feedback and then you can just wrap up the session. It's already 11:50. We can continue it on Thursday. Is metabolism fast? Yes, metabolism is a process which is gradually happening in your body. You cannot say whether fast is a relative term, so I cannot comment on it. What is fast for you can be slow for me, or what is slow for me can be fast for you. Can people from coma come again with any and weight like shown in that movie? Yeah, I think that is possible. People in coma can come out of coma. Class was excellent. Thank you very much. And not having mind to leave the class. I love this class. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.